I'm Rob Licuria, Senior Editor at Gold Derby, here with Steve Olson, Production Designer on Live in Front of the Studio Audience. Steve's been so kind today to rebuild the set for us, just for Gold Derby. Steve, let's just be honest, you've won so many Emmys, you've been nominated for 14, and you also won the Art Directors Guild Award earlier this year for your work on Live, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
With Live in Front of a Studio Audience, this particular iteration with Diff'rent Strokes and Facts of Life, you've got star-studded casts performing a live revival of shows that we all adore, and like as if that we remember them like as if they were yesterday. So first things first, you're recreating classic sitcom sets. Talk me through this massive undertaking. Where do you begin?
Well, what we did on this and what they did in years prior is just go through the old videotapes or on YouTube and really just screenshot every possible angle of the set and every detail, architectural details, furnishings. We just screenshot everything. There aren't drawings of these. Actually, we did find some drawings of one of the sets, but they were preliminary drawings and they weren't as built, so they were kind of helpful. But it's really about capturing all of that detail and then kind of you're deconstructing it and you're reconstructing it and figuring it out how it all plays together, and then rewatching episodes. So we have to be sure that we are watching the correct episodes, because these sets change over the years and over the seasons. And then we just, I have a team of set designers and great decorator who, just recreated all this detail that you can see, this amazing amount of detail. The Diff'rent Strokes Drummond living room was really the pièce de résistance of both of these shows together. So much architectural detail. And then the challenge is, finding all this. A lot of the stuff was sourced from studios back in the 70s, early 80s. A lot of the studios don't have these shops anymore, where these amazing plaster shops, or if they have them, they're reduced. So we had to look for other sources for all of these intricate details, these three-dimensional moldings, the staff molds. And as Tony was mentioning in his segment, these wallpapers don't exist anymore, or they're impossible to get. So we printed wallpapers, we printed flooring. Since that technology exists, it's sometimes just easier and better just to have a graphic designer lay it out, lay out the flooring, and then print it. This wallpaper we did manage to find at Aztec, which is one of the big wallpaper companies that service this industry, and so we were able to source this one. The kitchen wallpaper we had to create from scratch. It's a vintage look, and so there's a lot of that. I mean, we found a couple wallpapers for the Facts of Life traditional look. That was a little bit later in the 80s, the Facts of Life set. So that's the process. It's doing all that, and then it's trying to bring it back in a way that maybe is like what you remember in your mind, the glorified version of it. Not the kind of CD sitcom version. We've tried to lift it up a little bit, try to make it look. I mean, we're a one-night live presentation.
That's right.
And we've got Norman Lear, 99 years old, sitting in his opera box right in front of the set watching it. You want it to look fantastic.
What astounds me is that you're given license to recreate something, design it, build it to a T. Every piece of flooring, every piece of wallpaper, every piece of furniture is spot on. That's an enormous challenge. And then the show is made, and then I assume it's all torn down. Is that actually the case?
It's probably in a warehouse somewhere.
Oh, good.
I don't know
I just
what
can't
they're going to
imagine
do with it, but
yeah, I know, but I mean, how horrifying to see all your work being. But that was just something that I've always been curious about. But like, okay, so you're recreating everything, staying true to period. But these are also sitcom sets, i.e., no fourth wall, and they need to allow for quick scene changes, multicam, and you've got heaps of experience with multicam format. So can you talk us through what are the rules around designing for that format as opposed to, say, long form drama or single cam comedy?
So with the multicam, they're basically capturing all the angles of photography live at one time. So you've got a master, you've got a cross master, and then you've got two overs. And so you have to lay out the furniture and the walls in a way that the cameraman can capture everything, and the lighting people can light for all the angles at the same time. That does sort of produce a little bit of over light, over brightness. The sitcoms are accused of being too overlit or bright. They have to light for all the angles at once, so you lose that subtlety that you would have in a drama. But then again, it's a comedy. You provide camera ports. I've worked with Jimmy Burrows, our director, before. I kind of know how he's a pretty straightforward director. But he does like camera ports, and he likes it just to be quick. So you have to allow for that. And it's, I've been doing it over 20 years for multicam. And also these sets were laid out by a great designer back in the day who did multicam. So it's already built into it. It's already built into the whole layout. The trick on this one is typically we have 4 cameras on a sitcom. They had 9 cameras on this. Wow. and a jib. So that's over twice as many people on stage. It's a much bigger camera aisle than we normally would have. 16 to 18 feet. We were over 20 feet. So many people in front of this set, just trying to capture everything. It's all shot. It was shot, on December 7th, broadcast out to the world live. With they didn't miss a beat in all their camera moves. No, yeah, over the whole. And the jib was there. We don't really use jibs in multicam except for special shots. That was used for the live aspect of the production, where they like to pull back so you can set the scene, you can see where you are in the studio, you can see the audience, you can see all the cameras. Yeah. They would do that on the ins and the outs of the during the live show. They would use that jib so they could really see, what the audience is not seeing when they're watching each individual episode. You can see the whole world. That was kind of exciting. We also had a live band on stage, which you normally don't have. And we did have, the first 2 times they did this, the iterations, they had All in the Family and the Jeffersons, much smaller sets, much more intimate, smaller residences. This set for Diff'rent Strokes and the other set for Facts of Life were big sets. They were much bigger. We were on the same stage that they had, so it was so tight. There was no space in between sets. If you open the front door of the Diff'rent Strokes, you're in the bathroom of Arnold's bedroom. There's no hall. We didn't have any entrances, so I couldn't build a hallway. It was so tight. That's incredible. Yeah. You should be so immensely proud. I'm just remembering and looking back, those chandeliers. It's beautiful work, Steve. Congratulations on that. And we're going to bring you back for our group chat shortly. Fantastic.